You mentioned Cam Newton, linking it to Cam Newton. What were your takeaways that were most interesting on the Cam Newton fight?
Okay, so Cam Newton, one, we reached the point of the plot there that after somebody put their paws on us, suddenly we're on a podcast talking about it. I just know if somebody that had drugged me that was 6 feet 6 tall, me and some of my friends or whatever, I don't know if I'd be doing a media tour to talk about how that happened to me. There's a lot of disappointing things. And one of the things that come out about this in the aftermath of this conversation is how Black people talk about other Black people when these situation arises. This is when your neighborhood friendly race lady shows up. Is
Hold on a second.
there?
Hold on just a second.
It's time for your friendly neighborhood race lady.
You're good.
All right, now because I can't have the racial take unless I have the music.
Correct.
So there is, you see, when Black people, when others who are not Black try to make Black people into a monolithic people, meaning that if one of us does something, it somehow reflects on the entire race. We lose it. We understandably lose our shit because that very rarely happens to other races to some degree. It does happen a little bit, but I feel like with the degree when it comes to Black people, it's far deeper. And yet I have heard over and over on social media, Black people saying the same thing that we get outraged about, that white people say about our community. So suddenly this is not just a combination of ego and bravado gone wrong and tempers flaring and trash talk and all that, just a singular incident. Suddenly this is the reason why Black people can't have nothing. And I just reject that so much on all levels, is that, Cam shouldn't come back in the community. That's why he shouldn't deal with us. And that's why Black people can't do this. Whoa, 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 whoa. This is about some immaturity that took place on both sides, I might mention, because people are sort of focused so much on Cam winning the fight. And I'm not blaming him for this incident because it looked like, again, there was blame on both sides to be had. Mostly I'm just like, you guys are in the presence of kids. And I thought the point of the exercise with this tournament was to expose them to somebody who has been as professionally successful as Cam, who can help them understand what it takes to get to the next level. And as coaches in the position of leading young men, you got to know better than to do this. And so there's that part of the conversation. But I really hate how this has become the lecturing of Black people, mostly by other Black people who are saying that we have embarrassed our entire race by this one incident. And I hate that we, more than anybody else, subscribe to that same thinking. It's just that automatic reflexive recoil that we have when something bad happens nationally and we find out that the person who did it was Black. And suddenly we all feel this sort of secondhand embarrassment that somebody got out there and acted a fool. And I started to leave that thinking away a long time ago. And so because then you make it seem like the behavior is pathological and not just the actions of these individuals, because that's how I took it. They reflect me no more than, if some celebrity that's Black wins an award. And so we can't play that game. And so it's disappointing to find a lot of us sort of trafficking in those same stereotypes that we get outraged by when other people say it.
Walk me through two parts of this culturally, because Shannon Sharpe is blowing up now in the business, and he's one of the people who said that this is wildly disrespectful and it would never happen at Peyton Manning's camp or Tom Brady's camp. But you're talking about how people talk about the incident afterward. How about beforehand, when I ask you about Rucker Park or And One and the idea of talking trash before you arrive at Cam Newton's camp because you think you can do something against Cam Newton, and where words can escalate into what it is that we saw because you're disrespecting Cam Newton and he's only going to abide so much disrespect at his camp.
Well, exactly. But at least the way they told it, and I don't know, at this point, it's a game of who do you believe, but the trash talking seemed to be mutual on both sides. Now, like, trash talking is not a gateway to always leading to something violent happening. But again, when you put that type of trash talk, and I think because in general, there is a delusional quality in a lot of men who think that that physically that they can, that they can be sized up against a professional athlete. There's just a bravado in being about that anyway. And so then you get the extra bravado. Yeah, because y'all, look, if there's one thing a man will find, it's definitely delusion when it comes to how they stack up against professional athletes. You hear it all. I mean, you see it all the time.
Every day. Yeah.
Like,
when you're the same size, it's a different story, though.
I'm just saying, it's only men that are having these conversations about whether or not they can fight a bear. It's like, why do y'all believe this? I don't.
If you had the right trainers, though, Jemele.
See what I'm saying?
You could do it.
You're so delusional. Like the number, I think it was that survey that came out not too long ago about the number of men who think they could land a plane safely, having never flown.
Jemele, here's the thing. Here's what you don't know. When you
Tony
fly,
has literally
when
said
you
that.
fly to Bimini, Jemele, the pilots are right in front of you because it's a small plane, right? So there's no cockpit, there's no covering. So if that pilot goes down, guess who the co-pilot is? You look around and you don't find him, it's you.
That doesn't mean you're landing the plane.
Right.
Yeah, Tony's got a good point.
I would land that son of a bitch.
Once again, the delusion of men. Look, just give me the confidence of the average man when it comes to whether or not that they think that they could measure up to a professional athlete. So you have all of this hubris, this ego. You know, it's been a part of, like, as you mentioned, the Rucker Park tradition in general. There is something to be said for, like, hey, people wanting to see if they belong on the same field or be in the same company as some of these athletes. And this is just a situation that got out of hand, no more, no less. And as far as what Shannon said, that's what I mean, to make it seem like it's pathological. And I think I love Shannon. Reasonable minds can differ. And I think that's dangerous thinking to put out there, because it's making it seem as if only Black people are inherently attracted to confrontation and disrespect. And we know that's not true.
I could beat Alex Morgan one-on-one. Don't tell me I can't challenge someone just because I'm a woman, Jemele.
I mean, I'm just saying, look, I'd love to see us get that same level of toxicity. I encourage women, we need to be more toxic in this way. I need to be able to have the confidence to roll up to Serena Williams and say I could beat her in one set of tennis.
Do you play tennis, though?
I feel like I would be good at it, because that's what y'all.
So you haven't played yet. All right.
You don't start with a full set, Jemele. You say, hey, I can get a game off Serena Williams.
Yes, you're right. Okay, yes. I got to start smaller than that. I can get a game off of Serena Williams. It's like the athlete y'all think y'all are in your head and in your couch versus what you actually are is truly hysterical.
That was your friendly neighborhood race lady.
Jemele, always nice seeing you. Thank you for stopping through. We always appreciate it.
Yeah, I can't believe I did this whole thing and I didn't ask you why you're dressed in sort of like a masked adult diaper, but that's okay.
I just like it. I run my own company now, and I can adhere to all of my personal kinks. Yeah, personal kinks. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I love it. No judgment. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I make my own rules in my own workplace. I